Hello and welcome to another Intro to Programming and Database tutorial. In this tutorial we will going to be learning about how to solve your assignment for chapter number 6 part C. Here you can see the form. I already created the form and I already wrote the code so that I can go over the logic with you. As the problem states, what you need to do is you need to design a form where you're going to be accepting the amount from the user and the annual interest rate from the user, and you're going to determine the total number of years you're going to take for this amount to be doubled on this APR. Also, the formula has been provided to you, and the formula is 1 plus R, which is the APR, so 1 plus the APR in parentheses times the previous balance. This will going to calculate the new balance. And you're going to keep calculating the new balance until and unless the balance doubles to the original amount. Okay? So now let's have a look at the code behind the scene that I wrote in the button. But before I do that, let me share with you the names of the text boxes so that when I'm going over the code, you're going to know exactly which text box I'm referring to. The first text box that I have up here, I called it TXT-AMT. The second text box for APR, I call it TXT APR. And the final text box where the output will going to be displayed, I called it TXT double. So those are my three names, TXT AMT, TXT APR, and TXT double. Now let's double click on the button to see the code behind the scene. First, I'm declaring three sets of variables, one to hold the amount, one to hold the APR, and one to hold the balance as it grows. And then I have a variable that will going to determine the number of years that have passed as the balance is growing. Now what we're going to be doing is we will going to be accepting from user the amount, and we will going to be accepting from the user the APR. So those two things go in AMT and APR. And we will going to start by assuming that the balance equals the amount. So the balance and amount are exactly the same in the beginning. Now we start a loop. This loop must continue as long as balance is less than twice the amount. So if the amount is 12,000, then twice will be 24,000. So the loop should keep running as long as the balance is less than twice the amount. So if you want to understand a little bit better, so let me put parentheses around it just so that for your readability. It's not required in VB, but I'm just putting it for your readability purpose, that this times this, which is twice the amount, as long as it is less than the balance, the loop will continue because it's a while loop. It continues as long as the condition is true. Every time we go in the body of the loop, what it does, it applies this formula. This is the formula that was shared with you in the problem, which is 1 plus APR. The formula that was actually shared with you was 1 plus R times previous balance. That's what basically, this is how it was written out. So 1 plus R, for me the R is APR. That's what I call this variable APR, which holds the APR entered by the user. Since the R, we're using APR. 1 plus AP times gets converted into multiplication. Previous balance means the current balance before the change. This will going to help us determine the new balance. And then every time we are in the loop, we're going to increment this by 1. The years will going to be incremented by 1. So the reason is because this is an annual APR. So every time we are in the loop, we are calculating the annual balance. So now we are back in the loop, and now we are checking to see, is the new balance less than twice? Yes. Go back and recalculate. Go back and recalculate. This process will keep going on until and unless the balance actually either become equals to twice the amount or exceeds twice the amount. And this is the time when the loop terminates, and then we display the number of years into the text box. Now let's run it. So let's say when we are running it, The amount is $12,000 invested at the interest rate of 0.03. When we determine the years, it'll say 24 years. So this basically solves that problem. Let me know if you have any questions. Hope you would have enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you for watching.